Here's Too Spooky for You. Gotta have a little Stephen King in there.
Hello and welcome to Too Spooky for You. Yeah.
You know, the last movie I went and saw in the theaters, the new It movie.
Pennywise? Yes. Meet Georgie. Georgie, meet Pennywise. Now we aren't strangers, are we?
Oh, what'd you think of the new It?
It sucked. Plain and simple. Oh, Cupcake hasn't seen it yet.
Uh-oh.
Spoilers!
Hey, Cupcake, I can get you a copy of it if you like.
Don't bother, it sucks.
Hey, no. No, I liked
0
the
out of
movie.
10.
I did like the movie, but it wasn't scary.
I'm glad I brought alcohol to that theater, because I could not have gotten through that movie without it.
Oh.
Damn! I don't know, it's, the beginning of it seemed like they wanted to go down the horror route.
Mm-hmm.
But then, maybe halfway through it, they just took a complete 180 and turned it more into an action kind of film, in my opinion.
Okay, let's do what we always do at the top of the show. We'll discuss the actors one by one, and we'll see how you thought they did.
So we had Jaden Lieber. He played the main character, Billy. The big kid was played by Jeremy Ray Taylor. He was Ben. And I want to talk about Sophia Lillis. She was the red-haired girl in the movie. Well, the girl in the movie. Did you ever read the book of It?
No, and I would like to, but
Do you know where
from
I'm
what I've
getting
heard,
at?
it's extremely long.
It is. Thank you, Cupcake. Cupcake says it follows the book closer, and there will be a second one. And that's pretty cool. There was a lot of Easter eggs in there. If you saw the commentary or watching the behind the scenes, there is really a lot of intricacy with this movie they did. But the thing that I was kind of curious how they're going to dance around was the sleeping scene. In the book, when they go down to the sewers to, take down It, when they come back up, they all have sex with the girl. Like, they pretty much gangbang her, however Stephen King writes it. Because I was going to see how they danced around this one, and they did a pretty good job. She did a really good job acting. She seemed older than the other kids, though, didn't she?
Yeah.
Glad they kind of danced around that part, because it's just creepy to see or hear about kiddos doing the nasty. So, what'd you think about Richie Tolzer? His name is Finn Wolfhard. He played in Stranger Things. He was the main character.
Yeah, he wasn't bad. I mean, I think all the kids in that movie did a pretty decent job.
Yep. Chosen Jacobs was Mike. I think he did better than the other ones because he had to be I think he was closely based to the 1990s movie when he was a kid with this one. I think he did a good job.
Yeah. I don't know any of the actresses' names in the movie, just so you know. I mean, I don't pay attention to that, really.
What did you think of this Pennywise versus the other one?
I honestly did not like the new Pennywise. I don't know. Maybe I'm just holding the new It movie altogether in too high of a standard because I'm a big fan of Tim Curry.
After me. Rocco the rum runner rubbed out Rico the rat with his Roscoe for robbing his rum-running receipts.
Or I wasn't really scared or horrified like I thought I would have been.
There was a couple startling moments.
Yeah, and it seemed like they had a few moments where they tried doing a jump scare and they just executed it poorly. Like, if I'm going to go see a horror movie, I expect to be scared.
Well, let's look at just it by itself. So, in the beginning of the movie, they actually show the Georgie scene.
A storm blew me away. Blew the whole circus away. Can you smell the circus, Georgie?
I was impressed with this. What did you think of that?
I want to touch on what Cupcake said. Yes, I think it does have to do with us being older now. But as a kid, I was never afraid of clowns. And I don't know. I do think it was because we're older now. Yeah. Also.
Yeah, Cupcake says, do you think it's because of how old we are now versus when the other one came out? Yeah, I agree too. I think as we get older, we've seen the evolution of horror movies to what it is now. you know. And when we were younger, we were into that magical phase of our life where we're going to be scared about these things.
Do they float?
Oh, yes. They float, Georgie. They float. And when you're down here with me, you float too!
And they have to come up with new ideas to really scare us. Like Sinister, when it came out, that was a good movie. I really dug it because it did have a lot of, you know, jump scares and a lot of good things that you weren't expecting. What was the other one? Paranormal Activity, the first one. Hell, all of them,
God.
for the most part. Not the really later ones, but like 1, 2, and 3, I did like watching them.
Yeah, I mean, those movies are in my top of horrifying me, especially the second one, where you see the sister from the first movie come into her sister's house, you know, snap her husband's neck and etc.
My favorite scene in the first one was when they put the baby powder out and you got to see the hoof prints.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good.
The first one, which really, really got to me, was at the end where Micah was thrown from the hallway into the bedroom and he hit the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And then it had the alternate ending where it showed her walking up and then looking into the camera and smiling and then just walking away.
Yes.
Oh God, just thinking about it now.
The Conjuring, that was a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody likes the claps.
Hey, wanna play hide and clap?
So let's get back to Pennywise because we're going around. Okay, so the first scene where he's in the sewer, and when I first see him, I can't compare him to Tim Curry. It's a whole different entity for me. I got it right then and there, like this is going to be different, because I started watching him drool and like start convulsing because he's like trying to hold back that he wants to kill this kid. And I thought, this is going to be awesome, but it's not scary.
Yeah, that part I did like because you could, I don't know, almost sense, I guess, his hunger.
Yes.
For Georgie, you know what I mean? That I did like.
His eye color changed. I mean, he's kind of like he's wanting to like hold himself back from jumping out at him. He had to wait for the right time, you know, and I think they did a really good job.
The part where I started really not liking the movie is where the kids went hunting for him. That's where it really took a turn for me to horror, I guess, thriller to, you know, action.
Cupcake says, if you like jump movies, Strangers, and they are releasing a second one. Okay. But in that one where... I'm trying to think... Oh, there's my chair. My chair's really loud. I need to see that. I haven't seen it yet. But Pennywise did an okay job. The other scene I really dug was the one you see in the previews where he's in the weeds, shaking Georgie's hand and kind of gnawing on it. That's when he sees Sinister, you know?
Yeah.
The basement scene, you remember that? Where he's trying to swim through the water in a weird way.
Egg boy!
Yeah, that part was I don't know, it was kind of cool.
You knew he was going to be down there. You knew he was going to be like, but when he landed on the step and it looked like he was a Muppet, like somebody had pulled the inside, then he finally followed with it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like his eyes and stuff drooped and then he got pulled back.
Yeah.
I saw that and I'm like, ooh, what's this? And then thinking about it, because like some of that part of that movie, you gotta kind of think about it. Like when you actually see the kids floating, when he's all like, they float down here, that was cool to see. When he's in the tube and he's just kind of doing a creepy stare, he did a good job. But the room where he had all the clowns in the previews, that was not really scary at all. I did like how it's like 3 doors to choose, like not so scary, really scary. You know, that was funny.
Yeah, that was a nice little thing there with that. Another thing I wasn't a fan of was the whole where the one boy kissed the girl, and they had that little romance right there.
I had a barbecue stain on my white t-shirt. She was killing me in that mini skirt. I worked so hard for that first kiss.
come on. If I want to watch that stuff, I'll go watch The Notebook again.
They had the big kid who had a crush on her, and the dopey kid who got her. I mean, I liked how they kept that going. That was good. And Zeffy's back. Zeph, we're talking about It now, if you want to chime in about that movie.
The makeup was okay. But I will say, spin off the movie, talking about makeup, there's a channel on YouTube, and she did, lady did a really good job at the It makeup and all of that, so that was actually pretty cool. Like, I've seen a few of those floating around on YouTube. Her name is Mikey, or Glam and Gore, that channel. She did a really good job.
Did you ever see that YouTube video where the girl's talking about makeup and she supposedly got possessed and beat her own self up?
Oh God! Cool. Oh God! Don't talk about that one.
You were grossed out by that one?
No, that. Oh.
Oh, well, I'm Pennywise the dancing clown.
Pennywise, I liked the way he looked. He looked like a creepy clown from back in the day, and I really like when they first hit him with the rhubarb or that piece of stick or whatever. Other than that, like the movie itself, you're just kind of meh, you know.
I sort of felt the same when I seen it, because there's something to be said about the older versions of movies like It. You know, anything pre, 91.
It does not hold up when it comes to the special effects, but no one cares.
I'm every nightmare you ever had. I am your worst dream come true. I'm everything you ever were afraid of.
It was such a great TV movie.
And that's what I'm saying is, like, because we are so technologically advanced now, that we can make such a film grow so much, it doesn't necessarily mean, like Cupcake was saying in Discord, new ones overstimulate because they show you everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
To where some of these older films, they show you but don't. Is that they give you a little bit of a slip of something visual-wise,
mm-hmm.
but then don't really show you the rest.
Like she was saying, Cupcake was saying too, the putting the fear against you. Perfect movie of how that worked throughout the most movie and then failed at the end was Jeepers Creepers. I don't know if you ever seen that movie.
God.
But they did such a great job until the reveal. And then you're like, oh, that guy, he looks like a friggin' grasshopper.
No, if you're looking for horror that's meant for TV, there is a whole series called Masters of Horror that was really great. But my favorite one that showed on TV was called Cigarette Burns. Go check that one out. That was great.
All right.
Tasty, tasty, beautiful fear.
I love the ending when they started beating the crap out of the It.
Honestly, when I saw that, the only thing that came to my mind was a part in the movie Shaun of the Dead where they were beating the one zombie.
Yeah, to the rhythm of the music.
Yeah, with the Queen song.
Tonight, I'm gonna have myself. Well, who the hell put this on? John Random. Okay, John, it's time at the bar.
Yeah. That's the only thing I could think of.
But it left you with a lot of questions. Okay, so the girl gets hit by the white light, right? And she's all starting to float and stuff, right? But she comes back, right? So does that mean all the kids floating? Because you see them starting to lower down. Does that mean they're all waking up, or are they dead?
I mean, I've always assumed that they would be not alive anymore, so...
I mean, Georgie, I know wouldn't be, because he would have bled out with the big arm rip off like that.
Pennywise hibernates, correct? Every
yes.
whatever it is, 27 years. So maybe he has those kids in a catatonic state, so he can slowly feed on them over the years. So maybe majority of them are still alive, just in a coma-like kind of state. You know how kind of like a spider will wrap up its prey in the web and slowly feed on them over time.
Did we get to see the real... I forget the ending, because it was kind of... Because in the old ending, remember, it was like a big spider-looking thing, or a scorpion-looking thing, or something. And they shot...
He changed into a spider.
He did change into a spider?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. Oh, yeah, I do, yeah. I like the old one better where they shot the silver
I didn't like
up.
that part.
Oh, well. So there's it. That's it.
Now it's time for the sequel, which will be really far out there. I haven't read the book, but I do know, how he's some sort of weird being, and then there's the whole, turtle holding up the world or whatever. I would like to see it continue on to that.
And that is our show. Thank you so much for listening. I hope everybody enjoyed our opinions on the movie It. If you have any questions, comments, or opinions on the movie It, please submit them to the miscellaneous podcast 17@gmail.com, and we'll check them out. We'll read them on the air next week. It'll be kind of fun. If you like all of our shows, please subscribe to the miscellaneous podcast. You'll find us on almost all different kind of podcast platforms. Check out the Summoning Stone Gaming Show, which is on YouTube channel, the Summoning Stone Gaming Show YouTube channel, for more stuff like that, including computer games and Twitch TV and all that good stuff. We play games and stuff over there too. I want to thank Zephyrida for coming in for a quick appearance on the show. She does a nice blog. If you want to head over to zephyraisadventure.wordpress.com. Talks about World of Warcraft, all this other good stuff. Great little blog. Check it out. Thanks again, Cupcake, for adding a little commentary during our Discord session. Please subscribe to the Miscellaneous Podcast if y'all like what you heard. We're on every kind of platform, including YouTube, all that good jazz. And thank you so much for listening. How you feel?
Fantastic.
That's fine. We can compare it to the legendary Bill Curry.
On this episode of Too Scary for You, we talk about the movie It. So stupid. I can't do that.
You changed the word. It was spooky. Too spooky for you.
Oh, okay. Here, you try doing it. Let's see what it sounds like.
Oh God. I don't even know.
Try it. Do it.
Do it. Just...
You Jack Nicholson? Well, it's too spooky for you, eh? And on this episode, we're going to talk about the movie It. Not the old 90s one, the new one.
The crappy one.
What's your history of this movie?
We were old friends back in high school, riding the bus together.
Goodbye.